Next topic or next chapter is national income and related aggregates. So what are the topics that we are going to discuss is what is macroeconomics, basic concepts of in macroeconomics, consumption, what are the basic concepts, that is consumption goods, capital goods, final goods, intermediate goods, stocks and flow, gross investment and depreciation. Next, circular flow of income, that is it is only two sector model. Methods of calculating national income, value added or product method, expenditure method, income method. Next, aggregates related to national income, gross national product, GNP, net national product, NNP, gross domestic product, GDP, and net domestic product, NDP, at market price and at a factor cost. So these terms we are going to discuss at market price and at a factor cost. Next is real and nominal GDP, GDP and welfare. This much is our syllabus. National income and related aggregates, in that we are going to discuss macroeconomics. Last year we had discussed the same thing. It is that part of economic theory which studies the economy in its totality or as a whole. So this one mark question may be asked. So difference between the both may be asked, that is microeconomics and macroeconomics. It is, what is microeconomics? It is a study of individual economic units of an economy. Macroeconomics, it is study of the economy as a whole and its aggregates. Second, it deals with individual income and individual price and individual outputs. Which one? Microeconomics. Next, in macroeconomics, it deals with economy-wide aggregates like national income, general price level and national output. So here macro means as a whole we are taking. Next, third is its central problem is price determination and allocation of resources. So we are thinking of central problem in microeconomics and allocation of resources. Next, in macroeconomics, its central problem is determination of level of income and employment that we had studied in the last chapter. Next, fourth point is its main tools are demand and supply of particular commodity or factor. Here fourth point in macroeconomics is its main tools are aggregate demand and aggregate supply of the economy as a whole. Fifth concept in microeconomics is it helps to solve the central problem of what, how and for whom to produce in the economy. Here in macroeconomics, it deals with the central problem of full employment of resources in the economy. Sixth point of microeconomics, it discusses how equilibrium of a consumer, a producer or an industry is attained. Sixth point of this macroeconomics, we can say it concerned with the determination of equilibrium level of income and employment. Here in seventh point, as an example, we can say of microeconomics, it is individual income. It is taking into consideration individual income, individual saving, price determination of a commodity, that's a single commodity. Next, individual firms, output, consumer equilibrium. So it's all a single unit. So here in seventh point, we can say macroeconomics is a national income, national savings, general price level, aggregate demand, aggregate supply, inflation, unemployment, etc. are taken into consideration. So it is a huge concept. Basic concepts in macroeconomics: consumption goods or consumer goods. Its Its meaning is consumer goods are those which are bought by consumers as final goods to satisfy their wants. For example, durable, non-durable and semi-durable goods are known as consumption goods. Consumption goods we can see in detail. Consumption goods are those goods which are directly satisfy consumers' wants. For example, bread and butter, pen, chair, TV, car, services of a doctor, etc. are consumption goods. Types of consumption goods can be of the following four types. Non-durable goods. What is non-durable goods? Those goods which are used in a single act of consumption, such as fruit, milk, petrol, etc. are known as non-durable goods. Such goods are destroyed after the single use. Some people call them as perishable goods. Next, semi-durable goods. Semi-durable goods are those goods which can be used for some longer period of time, say a year or more, such as clothes, furniture, electrical gadgets, etc. Durable goods. Durable goods are those goods which can be used for several years, have a relative higher value. Such goods are used time and again for consumption, such as TV, refrigerator, car, etc. Next, services. Services are those non-material goods which directly satisfy human wants, such as services of a teacher, a lawyer, a doctor, etc. It also includes services provided by government sector to household sector, free or at some price. Such service perish if not used. Next is capital goods. Capital goods are those final goods which are used and helps in the process of production of other goods, such as goods and services. For example, plant and machinery. So I hope you understood. Capital goods are those goods which are used and helps in the process of production of other goods and services, for example, plant and machinery. Next topic is final goods. These are those goods which are used either for final consumption or for investment. Their value is included in national income. And next is intermediate goods. These goods are used either for resale or for further production and are not included in national income. As an explanation, we can say that final goods are those goods which are ready for consumption or cannot be resold or remanufactured. Such goods cannot be modified in any other form. Two important features are these goods help in satisfying human wants directly. For example, television, furniture, sweets, etc. The second point, in business, these goods help in capital formation or investment and help in raising income. So these goods help in capital formation and investment. So next is intermediate goods. Intermediate goods are those goods and services which are used in production process and are provided by other firms. For example, raw cotton to a cotton mill, wheat to a flour mill, tailoring services to a ready-made clothes making company are examples of intermediate goods. Such goods can be resold to other forms and are completely used up in various production processes during the same year. Value of intermediate goods is not a part of national income. It also includes the services of chartered accountant, lawyer, etc. used by a firm. Thus, intermediate goods have following features. Intermediate goods are meant for resale. Intermediate goods are for further production. Distinguish between intermediate good and final good. Basic concepts are nature of goods. What are the nature? So these goods are used in production process as raw material or an equipment or a service. Which good? Intermediate good. Final good. Such goods are ready for consumption or for sale and cannot be manufactured further. National income. Under national income concept, such goods are not a part of national income. If such goods are added, it result in double counting. These goods form a part of national income. Next, production boundary. These goods remain within the production boundary. These goods are out of production boundary. So as you know, intermediate goods are a form of raw material. So final goods are a form of final product. Okay. So we add the intermediate goods amount in final goods production. Okay. So as a raw material, if we purchase giving 10 rupees some product, for example wheat. So as for final product making, it has been included, and production cost, the raw materials cost has been included. So in at last, when we take the cost of final goods, it is taken the whole value of production that had taken place. So final good cost has been fixed on the basis of process of production. So it is known as final good. So intermediate good, if it is taken again for calculation in final good, it becomes the concept told here, double counting. So it is false for the calculation of national income. So we will be studying it in detail. Next concept is stock and flows. Stock. A stock is a quantity measured at a particular point of time. For example, money supply in India was 30 lakh crores as on 1st January 2020. It's an example. So it's just mentioning the correct date. So that is known as what? Stock. We can just calculate in the correct date how much stock was there. So that is known as what? Stock. Example, bank deposit quantity of money, capital wealth, etc. at specific point of time. So next is flow concept. A flow is a quantity measured over a period of time, such as monthly income of an employee, household expenditure during a month are the examples of flow. It has a flow of incoming and outgoing resources during a period. Example, income, expenditure, investments, change in money supply, etc. So see the difference between the both. Time. Stock relates to a point of time such as capital of a business on 1st April 2009 was 1,500 crores. Flow relates to period of time such as fixed investment during year 2018 to 19. So next, stock influences flow. Greater the stock of capital, greater is the flow of goods and services. Flow influences stock. For example, quarterly increase in investment leads to an increase in capital. Stock is not a time-dimensional phenomenon. Flow is a time-dimensional phenomenon, say per hour, per week, per month, per year. Stock